How would you like to get tips to have a direct conversation with some very successful people so that maybe you can pick up some nuggets that would benefit your life? Well, you don't have to. I already have. Hopefully I'll get out there and do some more of those interviews, but I've talked to a lot of people that have done really well in life, some really wealthy, successful people, and I wanted to share with you today some of the things that I've gotten from those people. The first thing I want to share with you, which is number 4, never stop learning. I personally, I'm 50 plus years old and I still read a book a month. I attend at least a seminar or conference every year, trying to be better, trying to grow, get knowledge that I did not have before. I still seek wise counsel. I seek wise counsel from people that are, 10, 15, 20 years younger than I am, because they're doing something that I need to know. In fact, I just made an appointment tomorrow to talk to someone about marketing, to get some insight that I don't have. And I think she's probably around 26, 27 years old, but she's an expert in her field and she can teach me something. I'm 50 plus, I'm almost twice her age, but yet there's something that she can teach me. I'm going to spend some time and I'm going to pay her for her knowledge. So never stop learning. Number 2, embrace your failures. In the early 2000s, I made a lot of money. I dabbled around in rehabs, buying, flipping properties, holding rental properties. Had a couple businesses back then that I ultimately sold. And then in the 2008, 2009 era, I actually was sitting on a lot of money. And this was the failure that I now embrace, that I'm sharing with you now. I sold properties, I liquidated everything, was sitting on a ton of money, and in 2008, with everything that was going on in the world with the real estate market, I was so afraid to jump out there and take another move. I didn't know whether the market was going to continue to decline or whether the market was going to go back up. And that was a failure because I sat on that money so long, I missed opportunities. I was looking for the big deals and it didn't happen. And sitting on money, it will go. You can't just sit on money and expect it to be there a year, 2 years later. You're dipping out of it, you're gonna start spending, and the next thing you know, what was $1 million is now under $100,000, and that was my case. Well, embrace your failures. So I have embraced that. I won't make that mistake again. The next one is to study history. Life happens in cycles. When they talk about human life, when you're a baby, someone has to change your diapers, then you're grown, and at some point in your life, you might be in your 80s and 90s, and someone has to change your undies at that point and bathe you. You're back. Life happens in cycles. Old people used to say, twice a baby, once an adult. So life happens in cycles. Economies happens in cycles. We've talked about the real estate market. The real estate market goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. If you look at it over the long haul, over the last 50 years, it's been going for the most part upward, but there's been ups and downs, and it works its way up. I remember my first home, I paid $70,000 for it. That property actually at one point went down in value, but it went up in value. Now you can't get that property probably for less than $300,000-$400,000. So life happens in cycles, even the economy. The stock market happens in cycles. If you talk to people like the Warren Buffetts of the world, people that have been in the market for years, they will tell you that even when the market goes down, keep putting money in. In fact, when the market goes down, whether you're talking about real estate or the stock market, when the market takes that big dip, that 20, 30, 40, 50% drop, you actually want to put more money in it. For example, what was it, 2020 during COVID, the market took that big dip. Well, that was a great time to put money in it. The Dow hit $20,000. Now the Dow is at $40,000. So it has ups and downs, but if you stay in it for the long haul, you'll do well. So study history so that you may see those cycles, understand that things happen in cycles, so that you don't panic when things are down, because it's going to come back again. Even our health And relationships have cycles, unfortunately. You look at relationships when people first get together, everything is so exciting and, the newness is there. And, a couple years later, things take a dive when you start learning the little things, some things that you don't like about a person, but then you learn to love them and to grow with them and things pick up again. And then there's some lows. Well, that's life. That is the cycles of life. How about our health? We can go 6 months, we're working out, we're eating the right foods, and, we get that six pack. I don't know if I've had one of those in a long time, but we get that six pack, and there's some people out there that simply have an 8-pack. I don't know how they do it, but, even them, they'll do everything right for a year, year and a half, 2 years, and then they take time off. And that 6-pack becomes a 3-pack, and the next thing you know, it's a 1-pack. And then they start working on it again, and life is good. That's life. That's what we do. Just like, the seasons, we have winter, then there's spring and summer and fall, and then it's winter again. Everything happens in cycles. So if you study money, if you study people, if you study life, the stock market, everything happens in cycles. And if you know that, you won't be thrown off when things go in a different direction. Okay? So the last one is to be flexible. Like the GPS in the car, when you run into a roadblock, when you run into road construction, the GPS will say recalculating. You too must be flexible, just as the GPS system. Find a different way to do things because, it's never a straight path to where we want to go. The running back in Sunday's football game, there was never a time when he could run straight to the end zone. He had to go in and out. He had to weave. He had to make some turns. That's life. It's never going to be perfect. And, there are those people that believe that life should be perfect, and they go out there and they run into a barrier and they quit. There's a whole lot of people that have just quit in life. They have given up because they ran into a barrier. But if you would only look in a different direction, if you'd only be flexible, like the GPS, recalculate, you'll find a way around that barrier and there find the success that you're looking for. Whether you're talking about family, whether you're talking about business or your health, there's always going to be roadblocks, but there's always a way around it. All right, quick review. Number 1, be flexible. Number 2, study your history. Number 3, embrace your failures because there's some knowledge there for you. And my favorite, the last one, is to never, ever stop learning. And on that, I wanted to share a couple books with you, reference learning. I may have shared some of these with you before. I often share some of my favorites. When you're dealing with some relationships or you just want to improve the relationship that you're in, one of the books that I highly recommend is by John Gray. It's Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It's kind of a funny title, but this is excellent material when it comes to relationships. And when it comes to leadership and business, there's the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. I love anything by John Maxwell. The guy is brilliant when it comes to leadership. So if you are a supervisor, a manager, or a business owner, look at some John Maxwell material. This is good stuff, and he talks in very simple terms. Actually, both of these books are written in simple terms. They're very easy to read. The third one, I've shared this one with you before, Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. His first one was, God, I can't think of the title right now on the first one, but Cash Flow, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that was the first one. Cash Flow Quadrant was number 2. Excellent book talking about how you put your money into certain quadrants to get the biggest benefit. Very simple, good read. And the last one I'll share with you is by yours truly, me and my wife. It's called The Next Right Move. It's going to help you move from where you are to where you want to be. The next right move in your life. All right. If this content was beneficial to you, I invite you to like, subscribe, and share, and be blessed.